Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Chill Like a Mother podcast. I am Kayla Huzar, your host, lover of creativity and talker about motherhood and all the things, because there is this intersection where people think that to be a good mom, you don't have hobbies, you're self-sacrificing, and you do all of these things that make you feel like just like not yourself. And I've asked Shar to come and chat with us today because she has identified as a creative person and the parent of a neurodivergent child. And we're going to talk about all the intersections of all of that today. So thank you, Shar, for being here.
I am so excited to be here and just talk about creativity because it lives in me and it just needs to come out. So I'm excited to talk about that and how neurodivergent has kind of come into our lives and how we've managed that.
Yes. And how you've managed that. Oh, do you feel like sharing a bit about that?
Yes. So I was really struggling with my one daughter. She struggled in school a lot with tummy aches and separation anxiety. So I kind of was taking her to therapy for separation anxiety, and I kind of just felt like we weren't getting anywhere. I mean, she loved going, and I was trying all these other things. The teachers were helping out, trying to give us some tools and tips. And I mean, that was in grade 1. Now she's in grade 5. And last year, I finally had this light bulb go off after she was struggling real bad. Like the meltdowns after school were awful, her outbursts and stuff like that. But I saw this reel on Instagram and it was like ADHD shows up different in girls. It shows up as tummy aches, headaches, anxiety, depression. And I was like, my gosh, this is it. Because I know now that ADHD is hereditary, and that was not something I knew before. And so knowing that it's hereditary and it is in our family, I was like, oh, why didn't I think of this sooner? And so it was like a whole process to get her diagnosed because she really didn't have any issues in school. And that's why her tummy was hurting, because she was like internalizing it all. So every single day she'd come home and just not be happy, right? So every day you'd be like, oh, hi. So after getting her diagnosed, also we had to, because it was a tummy, her tummy was hurting, we had to go through all these other loopholes to make sure it wasn't anything else. But now I can just see a huge relief. Like from September to last year, where it was meltdowns all the time, her tummy's hurting all the time, to I think it was by April that she was like, Mom, I don't think I need to go see my therapist. Like, I feel great. My tummy doesn't hurt. And I was like crying. I was like so happy that I finally like figured it out. And I just feel like our house is more peaceful because we're not like walking on the eggshell. I mean, when she takes her medication. But I can just see who she really is, because when she comes home, she's overstimulated, she's angry, she's hungry, she's like all of these things. And so we don't get to see that kind, loving person that I know she really is. And so now I get to see more of that. And I love it. So it was a process. It was a long process. And so if you're a mama and you feel like you need like your instinct, like follow it and do it, because it was worth it. I feel like I learned more about myself and my struggles and how that has run in our family. And so, we have dyslexia and ADHD in our family. And now I realize, oh, that's why I screw up emails all the time and my spelling is awful and all of these things. And I was like, this makes sense now. I'm not just really stupid. I've been able to give myself more grace knowing this as well. It's been beneficial for, I think, both of us. And then just being aware, like I have 3 children. So, just being aware and cautious on how they're doing in school and how they're feeling and stuff like that, to know that it could be another one. I could have more than one, but for sure when you have your parents, like one of the parents has ADHD and you have 2 children, one of your children will have it. And I didn't know those statistics. So I think even knowing in my family and my like sister's children and us all learning about our children and their needs.
Yes, I feel that. I feel so much of your story because as soon as we also were diagnosed, 3 out of the 4 of us in our household have been officially diagnosed ADHD. And as much as the hereditary fact is also true, you also attract, it's like, we're like ADHD magnets. Just like we also attract other people. I'm not kidding you when I tell you all of my high school friends and all of my university friends, with the exception of maybe one or two, have been diagnosed with ADHD after they were 30. All of them.
Wow. Like, that's another thing. Like, people say that it's like, oh, it's trending that everyone has ADHD now. And to me, it's just, we went so long without this diagnosis and thought we were weird and awful or stupid or different. And then all of a sudden we're learning more about it because our children have it. And then it's like, whoa, where did it come from? Because it's hereditary.
And so knowing all of that, tell me about the managing. Not only now, but since you become a mom, creativity I know is so important to you. And so share with me how you make time and what your favorite creative pursuits are.
Okay, so I'm an interior designer, so my work involves a lot of creativity, but my home has been like my canvas, whether my husband likes it or not. For the longest time, I don't think he realized that, like, this is what gives me my joy and spark. And so I would tell them this cool idea I want to do to the house. And he'd be like, why? Why would you want to do that? And I'd be like, because it's in my head. Like, I feel like that's a justified reason. It's not going to cost a lot of money because I can just like paint the wall, or I can just like do this. I think part of my creativity was sometimes when you get barriers like cost. And so then you have to be more creative because you don't want to spend a lot of money, because then I can just do it because it didn't cost a lot of money. And so I think that's also where my like DIY kind of came from, that like, well, it didn't cost much and I can get it done before he gets home. Great. And so now he's just come to accept and love me and my creativity. But it took him a little while to like accept that, because he's just like, whatever, the house is fine the way it is. And I'm like, do you not realize who you married? The house will never be fine the way it is. I will always be wanting to do something because that is how my brain works. I'm also like, when you're home with your kids all the time, you're in your home and you can see all of the things that you want to change about it. And so that also doesn't help. And so when the kids were super little, just babies, and our basement was unfinished, Steve built this like 2-foot wall. And the kids we had some rugs and all their toys, and they would play down there, and I would paint things on the other side of the 2-foot wall before they learned how to crawl over it. And so they would be happy playing. I could see them and I could be painting at the same time. So that was like definitely one thing that was like super beneficial for my mental health. I also like, we have lots of family. So there was this one time when he was like, you don't need to work. We have 2 children, like just stay home with them, you know? And I was like, great. Yeah. I don't need to work. I managed to pawn both the kids off at family. I came home. I was working on 3 different projects. And I was like, oh, I just need your help with this one thing. And he was like, oh my gosh. Okay, maybe you should go back to work. Like, yikes. So, I mean, I feel like a lot of people don't think that they should utilize childcare or family to do something creative, but that is honestly, I think, what I used childcare for was my creativity, which was, you know, sometimes it was work, but sometimes it was also just getting the project or the idea or the creativity out of my head and doing it, because I would always feel so much better once it was done. Don't be scared to ask for childcare to do something you love. It doesn't need to be because I'm working. I mean, I also felt like I was using my family a lot. So then that's when I was like, okay, I need to find childcare at least one day a week that isn't family. So then I don't feel like I'm using them, because all I would be like, hey, all we would talk about is like, hey, when can you take my children again? Because my husband works shift work. So it was like, he was just all over the place. His hours were ridiculous, right? He would leave at 4:30 in the morning and home at 7, or he'd be gone nights at like 4:30 at night till 7 in the morning. So I had to do what I could do to get my creativity out. And so it's great to be able to also help other people in their homes, to show them that they can love a home, like, and they don't need to spend a lot of money. Because when you can walk into a home and you're like, this place feels like home, you know, and it shows some of your creativity, like what a different space that is for you to raise your children in. I love doing my children's rooms. So this past year, which was also like a fun project for me, it's so fun. I had their help. You know, we were creating the mood board and I was like, do you like this or this better? And my one daughter loves pigs and swimming. So hers is a poolside paradise piggy room and with like pink waves on the walls and pictures of pigs and swimming. And she loves it. Just seeing her face and knowing like how much she loves her space that reflects who she is. That's such a wonderful gift to give children. And so then I had to do all the other kids' rooms. So then I did my youngest who wanted a checkerboard and cats. So we did that as well. And then my son, he is so easygoing. I had already done mountains on his walls. And he's like, Mom, I just kind of want some more shells and, like a corkboard. And just, they're so happy in a space that reflects who they are. And I think a whole home should be that to like showcase your creativity. And another thing about creativity is I didn't really think my husband was creative. Like, he's like, But then I was watching a home renovation show and this wife was describing her husband and they're doing like the kitchen. And she's like, this is my husband's place where he gets to be creative. He's so good in the kitchen and he makes all these meals and he shows his love by cooking for all of us and all our friends and family. And I went, oh my God, that's my husband. He is so creative in the kitchen. He can like make something out of nothing and everything tastes so good. So like he's my farm wife, I like to call him, because he makes his pierogies and his pickles and all of this good stuff. But I think that's another space for mothers to be creative is in the kitchen, is like baking or cooking supper. And I mean, I've tried. Cooking is not where I love to be. I'd rather go paint a wall than cook supper. And so I did have a therapist try and she's like, well, why don't you get more creative in the kitchen? And I was like, I just want to cook the meal and then eat it and then get back to my project. But I also think, if that's where the mom is creative, like a lot of moms love to bake and cook and stuff like that. I think that's like a great way to be creative.
You mentioned something in there about their rooms and that expression of creativity being like an expression of who they are. Do you feel like creativity allows you to express that like pure essence of who you are?
Yeah. Yes. It's like you are reading inside of my head. When that project comes out, during it, people are like, what are you doing? Are you sure about this? I don't know. And then you start questioning yourself. But then when you see the end, you're like, yes, this is exactly what was in my head. I mean, most times. Sometimes you got to pivot. But I think it's like that is literally what's inside of my head, clogging up all of the brain space, I guess. I don't know. And so when it comes out, it feels so good. Like that feeling of, and I mean, I'm the type of person I like to actually finish a project. I don't have problems not where I know other ADHD people do. I am the type of person that like hyper focuses and like I don't want to do anything else until that project is done. Even if it's really hard and I've succumbed to part where I'm like, I don't know if I can finish this. I am so determined and I will figure it out. I will call all the people or whatever and I will get it done because I love seeing that end result that's been in my head for so long because I'm very visual. And so I want to see that image that's been in my head come to life.
The visual and the needing to see it through. As you were sharing that story, I was like, there is a curtain rod that I've been meaning to put in my laundry room for a year now, for a literal year, because I did it this exact time last year. I like ripped apart my laundry room and I was going to put it all back together, but then I got pneumonia and I was sick for like 2 weeks. And slowly I've been putting it back together. But Shar, you just inspired me to get that curtain rod up this weekend. Come hell or high water, I'm going to do it.
Do it. It's going to feel so good because that's the current rod I told you to hang all your clothes on, right?
So then you did. You told me.
So then you don't see them in other places of your house. So then those areas are clean and it's going to feel so good. You're going to go into your laundry and be like, yes. Like you will literally be like, yes, this makes me so happy. And this other thing with clients, I'll like give them like their mood boards and their plan and be like, literally, you just have to go buy all this stuff and put it together. And then I'll like check in on them and they're like, I haven't done anything. I'm like, okay, so how can I help you? Just get it done. Like, just do it. It's going to feel so good. And so I'm not the procrastination type. I really am. My husband is, and I am not. And I think you got to have one or that. You can't have both. Being procrastinators when you marry someone, that's not a good option. So there's one, and yeah, it runs in my family. My parents are not procrastinators. They are like a go, go, go. And I'm like, yeah, that. I definitely have that.
Yeah. Oh, man. I definitely have the flavor of ADHD of starting 16 things and not finishing them. Finishing them eventually. There was actually a reframe I saw on Instagram the other day about how instead of berating yourself for not finishing those 16 things, you give yourself grace and credit for starting those 16 things, because even though you started them and didn't finish them, you still started something, right? For some people, they have a really hard time starting things, right? So then they feel like shit about not being able to start anything. And so my son have the flavor that we flit around the house, and like all of a sudden when you're gathering and going to bed, you're like even looking around in my office right now is like there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 doom piles just within my eye line. And it's going to take me 10 minutes once I actually get myself on the road to doing it. But to actually give yourself some credit for those 16 things that you started, especially if they're creative pursuits, because that pursuit, that following the urge is actually really important, especially if you're a female who has masked for many years and have hidden emotions and have hidden urges and have like conformed or kind of like, I sometimes talk about it like suffocating, right? It's like there's all
Yeah.
this stuff that I want to get out and I don't have an avenue for it. So, but to reframe a bit of that, like you started 16 things today and you will finish them. Not, and I will not finish them
Yeah.
because I will eventually finish them when the urge comes again.
Yeah, I love that. I don't think I've ever thought about that just because I'm like the type of person, I have a list and I need to check it off. I'm the list maker, the checker offer. Like, oh, I did that. I should add that to the list and then check it off. So I guess that's how my brain works. My kids have even started making lists. But yeah, I think that's a really cool perspective because I think even just starting does feel really good. Because you're like, this is the thing that's been in my head. Yeah. Yeah. Because there's so many things in our heads, so many things that just keep getting pushed down into the side for the next time, maybe when you can do it.
Creativity feels and is this expression of your like your essence, your true self, your authentic self, and without it you definitely notice these pieces of yourself that kind of get lost in it, or at least that's how it feels like for me when I'm not expressing myself creatively. I'm definitely not expressing myself in other ways because I feel like creativity for me opens that door to expression. It opens that door to like safety or vulnerability or like just an ability to just not also be on as a parent. That's, as I'm like workshopping this out loud with you, is I think what it really means to me is this is my thing. It's my space. Even if I'm doing something for my kids in that way, or we're doing art together, it's like, it's a chance for me to just be me.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Totally agree with that. It's like I feel completely lost when I'm not being creative. Like, oh, this life is like, oh, that when I can be creative, life is just so much more exciting. And when I have projects I'm excited about, it's like life is fulfilling and exciting. And like when I'm not creative, you're it's almost like a depression of creativity that I feel. And I was talking to my one aunt that is very creative. She's an artist. And she was saying when her kids were young, she struggled to find time to be creative because she needed this pocket of time to like you get into the flow, but then you have to run and go get the kids. And so your flow gets cut off before you can like finish. And so now that her kids are old and moved out, she just spends her days painting, which is just lovely and a dream. And I get that now that she was telling me that because like now I do like paintings that take me an hour because I can get into the flow and then I'm out and it's done, because to try and get back into that is hard. And like there are so many times where I'm like, yes, I'm killing it. I'm like, doing this mood board. And then I'm like, oh crap, I got to go get my kids. Like I just need another 15, 20 minutes or whatever to just finish it. And I just want to finish it, but no. And so that is where it can be really hard to make sure you have the time, but find the smaller pockets and find the little things. And I mean, just start doing it. And if you get cut off, that's life, I guess. But yeah, I agree. It's just needed. I just don't know how mothers do it without it.
Yeah, I actually think they feel it more deeply than maybe they even realize, and maybe wouldn't even call it that, but it is. You nailed it. It's like there's something missing. There's like
Yeah.
there's a vibrancy or a something that is missing from it. And I view creativity like some other people view going to the gym, right? It's like when you talked about when that project is done, that feeling that you get, I imagine that's the feeling that people get after they complete a marathon or after they meet a goal at the gym, right? It's like the act of going to the gym for the people who I've talked to anyway, isn't like maybe the fun part. Like maybe they find some community or they've found something there that they enjoy, but it's really the feeling when they're done that workout, that marathon, that goal
Yeah.
that they're striving. And I feel that way about creativity because I don't go to the gym. I don't have that same drive for that. And so that feeling, that getting in the flow, that meeting a goal, that sense of accomplishments or vibrancy, it gave you something, right? That feeling gives you something.
It fills your cup up because our cups are being drained so much that you're like, how can I fill my own cup? Because these children are not doing it some days, you know? Some days, yes, they're sweet and kind and are starting to help out around the house, but especially when they were little, oh my goodness. Right. And so it's like, what are the simple ways to fill your own cup up would be simply doing something creative, like something that's in your head and do it. And you're like, yes, yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes. So much of that. Thank you so much, Shar, for having this conversation with me. I loved every second of it. You're sharing pieces of your creativity and being the parent of a neurodivergent child, potentially children, and just sharing those bits of yourself and how you've made time and how you prioritized it. And it's so important. So thank you so much. And we will see you on the next episode of the Chill Like a Mother
Thanks.
podcast.
Thanks so much for having me. It's been lovely.